These people are hearing a lot about bird flu in the news and how it's spreading, and they're concerned. So they're looking for answers from. That's one of the reasons why we're here, because we want to go right to the source, of the people that are the leaders in agriculture. What is your level of concern over bird flu?
Well, I mean, it's here, and it's in the wild bird population, and so there's somewhat of a limited amount of what we can do. And so I think from our perspective as directors of agriculture, our job is to make sure that the food is safe. Right? We test. We do quick responses if there is a positive, and respond to those. But we're doing a lot more proactive stuff now too, where we're looking to see is it for sure proven that that the pasteurization in milk is effective, and we found that yes, indeed it is. And then post-pasteurization testing, things like that, so that we are sure that we're doing everything in our power, and making sure that it doesn't cross into the beef system. And so, I mean, dairy cattle seem to be most vulnerable. I'm from Montana, we don't have a ton of dairies.
So the former CDC director made a statement that raised a lot of eyebrows a couple weeks ago, and it was all over the news. He said, the former CDC director said that bird flu will become a pandemic. It's just a matter of time. It's not a question of if, but when.
I disagree.
What do you think?
I disagree. No, I think there's a lot of hype around it. And the few cases where it has crossed into the human population, it's been very minor. It was a case of conjunctivitis. Farm workers, pink eye, very minimal, not a pandemic like we can anticipate. I think it's harder on the avian population than it is ever going to be in the human population.
Right, and speaking of that, so there's been over 100 million birds depopulated because of, and the USDA is overseeing this. And that's another area that people are starting to think, well, we're spending a lot of money, taxpayer money, to try to mitigate this crisis, and it doesn't seem to be working. It just kind of keeps going, and now it's showed up in over 200 mammal species, according to CDC testing. I think our younger viewers are kind of concerned about that. Have you heard of a method of depopulation called ventilation shutdown?
Yes.
What's your thought on that?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any easy way to depopulate. There's just not. It's just really tragic when you have to get into that space of depopulating anything,
Tragic.
Yeah, tragic. We went through that with the hog industry, and now in the poultry industry, there is just no easy way to do that. I'm not that familiar with the different processes.
Yeah. One last question then for you. Some environmental, like the Environmental Working Group and some other groups would say this is considering the emergence, the science is telling us that zoonotic pandemics are emerging, not declining, and that it's not just bird flu, but it's African swine fever, it's foot and mouth disease that could potentially really affect the industry. And they say, isn't this the opportunity for us to invest in a different kind of food system that prioritizes plant-based food development, plant-based proteins, that apparently there's technologies that produce milk and meat that is very, very similar, if not unrecognizable from the animal products.
Yeah, but we're seeing actually an increase in animal-based protein. There was a movement more towards plant-based, but I think people found that it was just not all that they had expected. I think there's a lot that we're doing in the space of biosecurity for any sort of outbreaks. I think we're on top of those, and I think that people can trust our food system. I've traveled to other countries. We have one of the safest food systems in the world, and we are so fortunate to be able to lean on our regulatory folks to really make sure that stays secure.